Today we did the second part of finding parts and wholes given percentages in lesson 27. So I'm going to do two examples with you. 45% of the students were going to go away for vacation over spring break. So 45% going on vacation. If there were 160 total students, how many were not going away for spring break? So here's what I did first. I wrote the first fraction where I knew both parts. It's 45%, which is 45 100ths. This is how many are going on vacation during spring break to the total, okay? There's 120 total students. So they want to know how many were not going away for spring break, okay? So I need to know how many were not going on vacation to the total, okay? So I actually want them to manipulate 45%. If 45% were going on vacation, that means 55% were not going on vacation. And you get that by merely subtracting these two numbers. 100 minus 45 is 50, or 100 minus 45 is 55. Now I can worry about how many are not going on vacation. And I can put 160 total students here. I can simplify this first fraction by dividing them both by 5. And now I can find my scale factor. 20 times 8 is giving me 160. And whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. My students must be so sick of me hearing that, or them hearing that, me say that all the time, but it really does help. 88 students were not going on vacation for spring break. Example 2. 35% of Alicia's budget is spent on groceries. Okay? If she spends $140 on groceries, how much does she not spend on groceries? Okay. So my first fraction is 35 over 100. This is groceries to total. Okay? It wants me to find how much she does not spend on groceries to the total. Okay, so I have my kids manipulate this first ratio that they give us. 100 minus 35 is 65. So 65% of Alicia's budget is actually spent not on groceries. So now I have to go back. I have $140 to spend on groceries. Unfortunately, okay, or fortunately, however you want to say it, that's going to go up here. It's not going to help us necessarily solve what we're looking for the first mathematical work I do here, but let me see if it leads me to the right answer. I'm not sure if there's anything here. So when I take out my calculator and I do 140 divided by 35, it's actually 4, okay? And whatever I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. Okay, so she has a total budget of $400, okay? If she spends $400 on groceries total, she can subtract the 140 to see that she spends $260 on things other than groceries, okay? Another way you could do this is you could say, okay, the total's here just to check your work. 400's the total. 100 times 4 gives you 400. Whatever you do to the bottom, you must do to the top. So she does spend 260. So my answers match here. It's a great way to double check your work. Okay, last one before the bell rings on me. I wish I could go over all three, but looks like my period's coming to an end. 60% of the homeworks graded were B or better. Okay, 60% B or better. If there were 175 homeworks graded, this is going to be a total, how many were lower than a B? So we're looking for how many were lower than a B. First fraction that I write down is 60%, 60 100ths. This was a B or better. This is the total. Okay, now the second fraction, lower than a B. Okay, 100 minus 60 is going to be 40 over a total of 100%. Okay, so I have my two percentages written down. 175 homeworks were graded. So that's a total. So I can go right to this one. How many were lower than a B? So I'm going to put 175 here. Okay, I'm going to scale down my zeros, which is the same as dividing the top and the bottom by 10. I'm actually going to divide 2 and 10, 4 and 10 both by 2, which will scale down or simplify to 2/5. Now my scale factor, 175 divided by 5 is going to be 35. And whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top, okay? So 70 papers were lower than a B. I hope this helped you understand lesson 27. Have a great day.